I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's up my homies? Lay here. You know what it is, man. We're breaking down another card. Sean Strickland taking on Uriah Hall. Hey guys, as always, hams that smash that like button, man. Let's go. Alright guys, first fight we've got Ryan Benoit taking on Adahshev. Now, I've already broke this fight down a few months ago. It's quite a 50-50 matchup. Similar to Barberena and Hannah Goldie, the card we just watched, right? A lot of people thinking Hannah Goldie may be good enough. A lot of people thinking Barberena may be good enough. The bottom line was, it was a difficult prediction to make. This one is similar. You know, Adahshev, 0 wins, 2 losses inside the UFC. He hasn't looked good. He got knocked out by Tyson Nam. He got basically schooled by Sumadaji after round 1. Now, Ryan Benoit, this guy isn't exactly close to a title shot, right? He had a split decision loss to Brandon Moreno nearly 5 years ago. Since then, he's had 3 fights. He beat Mokhtarian, which you should be winning that fight. But then he lost to Heli Alateng and Tim Elliott. So if you're looking at who's got the most experience and who's maybe the more logical pick, I would say it's Ryan Benoit. But I sided with Adahshev a few months ago, and I'm going to side with him again here. I think his combat sambo maybe could be the path to victory. And even if it's kept striking, you know, I think Adahshev maybe finds some sort of success striking this time. My prediction, I'm going to take Adahshev to get his first UFC win. Not super confident. My numbers are keeping real close, -110 each. And we've got Adahshev plus 120. Ryan Benoit -140. Yeah, little bit of a disagreement. But at the same time, the logic maybe is Ryan Benoit. He's had more UFC fights. So yeah, I'll take Adahshev on that one, guys. Shout out to everyone who found the Easter egg. Last breakdown, you know, sparking up unannounced. So yeah, this one we've got Orion Cosce, taking on Philip Rowe. Kinda seems like a contender series matchup. You know, you've got Orion, 7 pro fights. Philip Rowe, 10 pro fights. Kinda feels like a contender series matchup. Now, we do have to mention the huge reach advantage that Philip Rowe has. He has 9 inches of reach on Orion Cosce. So maybe in round 1 that's going to be an issue. But I think as Philip Rowe slows down in round 2, Orion Cosce is going to close the distance. I think he's going to have more success as this fight goes on. Philip Rowe seems to be more of a jiu-jitsu guy. You wouldn't guess that if you looked at the contender series matchup. He beat Shabazian. Not Edmund Shabazian. The brother, Leon Shabazian. But if you watch round 1, Philip Rowe getting completely outclassed. He needed Leon Shabazian to slow down, adrenaline dump, gas out, to have success later on in that matchup. Now, if you look at his UFC debut against Gabe Green is a guy who did not slow down. So I'm going to side with Orion Cosce to be able to deal with the reach of Philip Rowe, the kicks of Philip Rowe, and potentially the grappling side of Philip Rowe. So that's going to be my prediction here, guys. I'm going to take the undefeated fighter, Orion Cosce. My numbers, I'd put Orion Cosce at least a -150. You know, you don't want to price him too high. It is a contender series matchup at the end of the day, right? And we've got Orion Cosce -200, -180. I agree that he's the favourite, but if that starts to climb even more, yeah, you're starting to get some value on Philip Rowe. Alright guys, moving into Trevin Jones taking on Ronnie Lawrence. Man, this is a good matchup. Really decent matchup. And the reason why it's decent, Trevin Jones, this guy, he doesn't go away. You know, you look at his debut, over +200 as an underdog, getting the brakes beaten off of him by Tima Valiev, finds a big punch, gets a win. And then he fights, who does he fight next? Mario Batista. Again, he was an underdog, but finds a big punch, gets a win. So we're seeing a pattern here with Trevin Jones. He kind of gets a little bit outclassed, but the punching power that he has, it seems to be enough at the moment. Now Ronnie Lawrence, this guy I was super impressed with in his debut. He showed us exactly what he's about. Super good cardio, wants to fight at a high pace, wants to grapple the opponent. He ends up winning this fight by ground and pound. So Ronnie Lawrence, man, straight from the get-go, he showed us what he's about. Good conditioning, I want to grapple. I want to see how strong your heart is, how good your cardio is. That's what he's going to do here to Trevin Jones. So it's one or the other. Either Ronnie Lawrence is able to take down Trevin, bring him into his fight, potentially drown him and get a finish. Or Trevin Jones is getting outclassed and again he finds a big knockout punch. It's one or the other, guys. I've gone against Trevin Jones 2 times. I'm going to go against him again. I'm going to take Ronnie Lawrence to get those takedowns. My numbers, I'd put Ronnie minus 160. I want to go a little bit higher, but I know what Trevin Jones is doing to these guys, man. He's knocking them out. So I'll put Ronnie Lawrence minus 160. And we've got Ronnie Lawrence minus 170 up to minus 200. So yeah, people know. We can't put Ronnie too high. We know what Trevin Jones wants to do to these guys, and he's pretty good at doing it too. But that's going to be my prediction. I'm going to take Ronnie Lawrence. Alright, we've got Ashley Yoder taking on Frey. Yeah, we're going to spark up for this one. Not because it's a great matchup, but because I'm potentially picking Ashley Yoder to win a matchup, which I haven't done. I've never picked Ashley Yoder. The Spider Monkey. Alright guys, Ashley Yoder taking on Frey. Now, Ashley Yoder is the more experienced fighter. She's been in the UFC for a longer time than Frey. Taking a look at Frey's career so far in the UFC. She debuted against Kay Hansen. That one didn't go too well. Round 1 was nice, but after that she was tired. Then she got Loma Lookboonmee, which that's a horrible matchup for anyone who can't grapple. Then she got her first win against Gloria DePaula. Now I predicted Frey to win this one as an underdog. So yeah, I've been pretty okay at predicting Frey's UFC matchup so far. She was able to take down the Muay Thai practitioner. Now is she going to take down Ashley Yoder? I mean, if she chose to take down Ashley, if she chooses to do that, maybe she has success. But I can't see why she would do that. You know, she took down Gloria, who's a Muay Thai fighter. Ashley Yoder knows how to grapple. She isn't a Khabib, she's not a Damian Maia. But if you look at what Ashley Yoder really wants to do inside the octagon, if it's not boxing from a distance, hitting air with 75% of strikes, if she's not doing that, she's grappling. You know, Ashley Yoder wants to grapple. So yeah, man, whatever side you pick on this one, you don't feel good about it. But I'm going to take Ashley Yoder, man. I'm going to do it. And one of the main reasons that I want to pick Ashley Yoder, Frey, I don't really like her cardio. Now, she did take good advice from her corner. You know, she was 1-1 with Gloria, and her corner told her, listen, you need to get that takedown again. And she went out there and she did it. So credit to Frey for that. But this time, man, it may be more difficult with a more experienced UFC fighter, not a debutant. Yeah, I just prefer Ashley Yoder in this matchup. Now, if we're talking about betting on this matchup, yeah, obviously not. I'm going to put Ashley Yoder minus 120, Frey plus 110. And the actual numbers, we've got Ashley Yoder minus 130, minus 140, Frey plus 110. Yeah, the line is spot on, man. You would slightly favour Ashley Yoder, but you know that she can lose any matchup in the UFC. You know Frey can probably lose any matchup in the UFC too. You don't want to be the loser of this one. If you're the loser of this matchup, it's not looking good. I'm going to side with Ashley Yoder. Now this one, guys, Danny Chavez taking on Kai Kamaka. We can spark up for this one, not because it's a horrible matchup. Quite the opposite. This is a great matchup. We can spark up to this one with good vibes. Alright, it's actually a difficult prediction to make too, and I'm going to tell you guys why I think this is difficult. Danny Chavez, in my opinion, appears to be a great kicker. Kai Kamaka, in my opinion, appears to be a really good boxer. So what we've got here is, if these two guys are striking, Danny Chavez is gonna land damaging kicks. Kai Kamaka is gonna try to be inside that kicking distance or outside the kicking distance. There's two ways that you deal with low kicks. Either you come all the way out, or you go all the way in and you step in with a punch the same time the kick lands. There's two ways to deal with it. Obviously, the other way too would be you're not all the way out, you're not all the way in, stepping in with a punch. You just turn the shin out and try to check the kick. But Kai Kamaka, man, in my opinion, this guy is a better boxer. But as we know, this isn't just boxing, it's mixed martial arts. Danny Chavez, he's going to try to kick the opponent. Now, we could get some grappling too, but I don't really feel like we're going to get that. Both of these guys like to strike. So it comes down to who is the better kickboxer. The kicks of Danny Chavez really may be a problem for Kai Kamaka. But man, the flip side is the same. The boxing may be a problem for Danny Chavez. Super good matchup. I'm looking forward to watching this one, not betting on it. I'm going to side with Kai Kamaka. I haven't gone against either of these guys yet, but I feel like the boxing is the result. Now, the great thing about watching mixed martial arts, man, come Saturday night, we get to sit down and see, was the boxing the result, or was it the kicks of Danny Chavez? We're going to find out. Yeah, my numbers, I'm keeping them really close, man, because I see both guys having success. I'm going to put Kai Kamaka minus 120, Danny Chavez plus 110. And we've got Danny Chavez plus 120, Kai Kamaka minus 150. Ooh, minus 150. I think that should be a little bit closer to plus 100. And maybe we get that later in the week, you know? When people start to see Danny Chavez with the head kicks and the low kicks on the highlights, maybe some money comes in. Because right now, Kai Kamaka minus 150, yeah, it should be a little bit lower, in my opinion. Alright guys, we've got Chris Gruetzmacher taking on Rafa Garcia. And we're going to start with Chris. So Chris Gruetzmacher, man, been in the UFC for a few years. Hasn't done the most, hasn't done the most here. I was actually at his fight 3 years ago in New York when he beat up Joe Lauzon. Big knee, I can remember that fight. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Chris Gruetzmacher after that win against Joe Lauzon. He just kind of disappeared. Didn't fight again for a while. We saw him 8 months ago against Alexander Hernandez. And I've got to be honest, man. Chris Gruetzmacher looked like he shouldn't be in the UFC. I've got to be honest. We know Alexander Hernandez as this wrestler type, explosive guy. He's not really a natural striker. But when he got in there against Chris Gruetzmacher, oh man, Alexander Hernandez, he looked like a natural striker. He looked like a Muay Thai guy who's been doing it for 10 years, 20 years. That's really how out of place Chris Gruetzmacher looked, in my opinion. Now the flip side, we've got Rafa Garcia. This guy, 0 wins, 1 loss inside the UFC. However, he debuted against Nasrat on super short notice. And for those of you that can remember that fight, yes, Rafa Garcia lost, but he showed a good account of himself on super short notice. I think he even won round 1. Rafa Garcia, man, stepping up on a few days' notice. Looked good, man, against Nasrat, a guy that we regard as a prospect in the UFC. So when I try to picture the matchup between Chris Gruetzmacher and Rafa Garcia, I kind of see Rafa Garcia teeing off, landing that traditional Mexican boxing. You know, I see him having a good time here. Chris Gruetzmacher, I'm not too sure what he has to do to win this matchup. Maybe grapple? I'm not sure. I think Rafa Garcia is going to basically show Chris Gruetzmacher out of the UFC. As bad as that sounds, I think he's going to open the door and say, here you go, mate, on your way. So yeah, I'll take Rafa Garcia with the boxing. My numbers, I'd have to put Rafa at least a minus 200. And we've got Rafa minus 250. Yeah, a lot of people counting out Chris Gruetzmacher. Makes sense. Alright guys, we've got Colin Anglin taking on Melsik something. That second name, I'm not going to even attempt it, man. Instead, I'm going to spark up. Alright, Colin Anglin taking on Melsik. Now, both of these guys got to the UFC through the Contender Series. If we're looking at Colin Anglin on the Contender, he showed a lot of determination, man. A lot of heart. Kept walking forward, kept trading, kept grappling, throwing knees. He showed everyone tuning into that fight how much he wants to be in the UFC. Now, he didn't get a finish. But man, the heart was so strong from Colin Anglin. Yeah, he deserves to be here. Now, Melsik also won his Contender Series fight. Didn't get a finish, but showed some nice Muay Thai technique. The difference between Colin Anglin's performance and Melsik's performance. If you guys remember, Melsik got very, very tired. Colin Anglin also slowed down, but he just kept going, man. There was no stopping that guy. So yeah, this is a super difficult prediction to make because I can see Colin Anglin getting those takedowns. I can see him drowning Melsik, even outside of round one. You know, if Melsik slows down, Colin Anglin could have a great performance. But when you think about the striking side of this fight, I think Melsik could potentially finish Colin Anglin, whether it's a nasty kick or a well-timed punch. Melsik is the striker here. Colin is the grappler. It's one or the other, and it's a super difficult prediction to make. I wouldn't bet on this fight personally. Sometimes you hear people say dog or pass. So maybe that's a fight here, dog or pass. My prediction, guys, I'm gonna pick Melsik. I'm not super confident, but I think he's the better striker. If he uses his energy well inside that first 10 minutes, I think he could potentially finish Colin Anglin. So yeah, that's gonna be my prediction, guys. I'll take Melsik, and I'll keep the odds really close, man. Melsik minus 110, Anglin minus 110. And we've got Colin Anglin plus 120. Wow. Melsik minus 150. So maybe some people are looking at the Contender Series matchups, seeing Colin Anglin kind of take some shots here and there, thinking Melsik can put away this guy. It could happen. But we also see that Colin Anglin, he didn't go away. He's taking these shots, he's still walking forward, getting takedowns, landing his own punches. This is a really good matchup. Oh my goodness. We've got Nico Montano taking on Yenan Wu. Oh my. Alright, let's start with Nico. Now this girl won the Ultimate Fighter. You know, she joined the Ultimate Fighter. She done really good, man. She won every single match up there. Beat Lauren Murphy. Beat Montana De La Rosa. Beat Barb Honchak. Who's Barb Honchak? And then she got to the finals and she beat a veteran in women's mixed martial arts, Roxanne Modafferi. So at this point you're thinking, Nico Montana, this girl's pretty decent. And to be honest, guys, she is. She's a good grappler. When she ends up on top, you can see how strong this girl really is. So she was scheduled to fight Valentina Shevchenko. And I know I'm going back a couple of years at this point, but I just want to paint the mindset of a fighter. And then the mindset of a fighter that doesn't have the mindset of a fighter. You know, Nico Montana, man, since that Ultimate Fighter, where's she been? She's been inside the octagon one time. Now the opponent, Yenan Wu, not exactly the next Amanda Nunes, the next Ronda Rousey, but her mindset seems to be a little bit better. She debuted against Gina Mazzani, lost that matchup. She was potentially losing to Lauren Muller until she pulled off that armbar. Nice win. Then she lost to Mizuki, and then she got dominated by Jocelyn Edwards. So although Yenan Wu isn't exactly, like I said, the next Amanda Nunes, this girl is getting in there. Now if we're deciding who wins this matchup based on who has the better credentials, yeah, it's Nico Montano. Maybe she takes down Yenan Wu and grapples her, gets her first win officially inside the UFC. That's probably most likely, guys. But I just don't like the mindset of Nico Montano. And that's ultimately why I'm going to side with Yenan Wu. Like I said, the logic, the paper pick, the credential pick, Nico Montano. If you're looking at who wants to be a fighter more, Yenan Wu. So yeah, my odds on this one, I'd put it real close, man. Maybe give Nico the slight favourite, but I'll keep them real close. And the actual numbers, we've got Nico Montano minus 170, Yenan Wu plus 140. Yeah, the line is not that bad. Maybe Nico really should be a minus 170, minus 200. Maybe she takes down Yenan, gets her first UFC win, like I said. But something tells me do not pick Nico purely because of the mindset. Alright guys, we've got Lazzez, the sniper, taking on Nicholas Stolze, this German dude with the octagon name Green Mask. So Nicholas Green Mask Stolze, that's a pretty cool name. This matchup, I wouldn't say you could be super confident, but I am leaning a little bit more towards Lazzez. Now I took Munir in his debut as like a plus 280, something crazy like that. Al Hassan started real quick, used all of his energy, then Lazzez sniped him, took him down, got a big upset win. But then he fought Warlley Alves and he got obliterated. So yeah, the striker in this matchup is going to be Lazzez. The grappler is going to be Nicholas. This guy is going to try to take down Munir. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not too sure if Lazzez can stop the takedown. We've not really seen it yet. I do believe there's a couple unknowns in this matchup. You know, how good is Nicholas Stolze really? And how good is Munir? We're going to find out. If we had the bigger octagon to work with, I'd be more confident on Munir. You know, he wants to use space. Almost like a sniper. Snipe you, move. Snipe you, move, right? That's Lazzez. But Nicholas Stolze, he wants to take you down, squeeze your neck, break your arm, do some jiu-jitsu. And I don't feel extremely confident saying that it's not going to happen. It's just one of those matchups. But if you put a gun to my head and say, listen, Lay, you've got to make a prediction on this matchup, I'm going to side with the sniper, Lazzez. My numbers, I'd put Munir minus 160. And the actual numbers, we've got Lazzez minus 190, minus 200. Yeah, he should be a favourite. We're putting Munir a favourite. But if he gets up to like minus 250, minus 270, you know that's a potential spot that's going to break a parlay. Right? So yeah, guys, I'm going to side with Lazzez to be able to strike when he's not taken down. Alright, my homies, you know what time it is. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Hey, I hope all of you guys are doing blessed, having a great day, a great start to your week, the end of July. Yeah, hope all of the homies having a blessed one, man. So yeah, guys, this is my Instagram, UFC Lay. Follow that if you've got Instagram. My Patreon. Shout out to all 68 Patreons. You guys, man. Unbelievable. What can I say? Every week, man. You guys amaze me. We didn't have the best night last week. We got the Adrian Yanez. We got Nasruddin. But man, we was let down in a couple live betting situations. Miranda Maverick. My goodness, we have to speak about that. For the smoke break topic, we have to speak about that, man. Now, Miranda Maverick, man. Clearly you can see round 1 was scored for Maverick. Round 2 should have been scored for Maverick. But Saudi Amato, and I can't remember the other judge, they didn't see that. Now it's funny because the whole world see it. And even if you was blind, you still see it. You know? You could be blind and tell your friend, bro, I'm blind, but I saw that. 2 rounds to 1 for Maverick. Yeah, I see that. You know, the whole world see it, man. At this point, guys, I have to say it. I think there's corruption with the judges. It's at the point where it's so obvious that they're scoring rounds for fighters if they can, right? If there's a case. You only have to go watch the interview with Saudi Amato with MMA Junkie, and he was explaining why he gave a 10-8 to Michael Chandler against Charlie Olives in round 1. And if you listen to this interview, I'm telling you guys, he says word for word, I gave it a 10-8, but I could kind of see a 10-9. So there in itself, he's saying, if I can do it, if there's a case of doing it, I'm going to do it. You know, it's corruption. I think his pockets get bigger every time he's able to do it, if there's a case of doing it. But in my opinion, Saudi Amato dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. Round 2 for Maverick. There's not a case. There's not a case. There's a case right up until the takedown. You know? And that's the exposure. That's the cover blown, in my opinion. And he also says in this interview, we all need to be on the same page. We all need to be looking at the same thing. Well, it's clear to me that Saudi Amato is scoring the fight in a way that benefits some wealthy people above him. In my opinion, guys. It's not ignorance. It's not that he doesn't know what he's watching. He's been here for over 10 years. He's been doing it for a long time. And I see people saying, how is Saudi Amato still a judge? How is this man a judge? I'll tell you why. He's a very, very intelligent man. Like I said, guys, Saudi Amato will score the fight. He will score that round for Barber if, right? The key word is if. If there's a case that he can, he will. And there was a case. But right up until the takedown, that's when the case went out of the window. That's when every mixed martial artist at home said, that's when every mixed martial artist fan at home said, round 2 is for Maverick now. It was a close round, but the takedown in the last minute clearly secured her this round. But Saudi Amato, in his mind, he's thinking, is there a case? Can I somehow score it to Macy? Because people above me are going to get paid a lot of money if Macy wins. And I'm going to get paid more. But this man's been doing it for years. You know, you only have to go watch the interview with MMA Junkie when he's speaking about Michael Chandler and Charlie Olives. Watch this interview and listen to his words. He says it. I can see a 10-8. But I can also see a 10-9. You know, he's basically saying there and then, if I can see a case, then I'll do it. Now, an example where he can't do it. Soriano and Brendan Allen. Now, everyone at home is watching Soriano. Tired, fatigued. Just looking like he's ready to go for a 10-hour sleep. Now, he can't do it there. You know, he can't do it because there's not a case to do it. But if there's a case, Sal D'Amato will do it. If it's obvious and he can't do it, he won't do it. And this, guys, is why Sal D'Amato is still a judge. Because he's a very intelligent man. He knows when he can do it and when he can't. But unfortunately for Sal D'Amato, everyone saw round 2 from Miranda Maverick. Everyone saw that round from Miranda. It's not ignorance. It's not anything other than Sal D'Amato dropped the ball and exposed what he's doing. He exposed what he's doing. And it kind of makes you think a little bit. Why does Dana White not want any fight to go the distance? Why is Dana White such a advocate of finishes? Why do we have bonuses? Dana White knows what's up. You know, it's like if you mess with the bookies, man, you're messing with the mafia. These guys are legalized gangsters. Dana White is also a legalized gangster. A legalized gangster knows what the other legalized gangster does. Dana White knows, and that's why he doesn't want any fight to go the distance. He doesn't want finances to come into it. But obviously, guys, if the fight is complete domination, these judges will let the bookies take an L. They can't do anything. But if there's a case, yeah, get ready for your ticket to be blown out the water by Sal D'Amato. And of course, some people may disagree. And some people may say, you haven't really got evidence. But I've been seeing it for too long. And that one last night with Miranda Maverick, yeah, so obvious. It's so obvious. Alright guys, let's get into the main card. Need to spark up after the smoke break. Went off on that one, man, but I think it was needed. You know, a lot of people angry with these judges. It's clear to see that it's not ignorance. It's not ignorance anymore. Alright, Bryan Barberena taking on Jason Witt. So let's start by saying Jason Witt hasn't got a great chin. If you connect with anything meaningful against Jason Witt, the guy seems to go down. Now, you can't really condition your chin. Either your chin's breakable or it's not breakable. You know, hashtag Darren Elkins. You can't break that guy's chin. Another guy that you can't really break when you punch him in the face, Bryan Barberena. It's like you've got to go to the body of this guy to get a finish. Now, Barberena, in my opinion, this guy is the true definition of a real fighter. Not exactly the most technical. Not going to be a champion inside the UFC. But man, he gets in there, tough as nails. And if you're not tough enough, he's going to break you. Jason Witt probably should grapple in this matchup. And even if he does, I think at some point, Bryan Barberena is going to catch him. So that's going to be my prediction. I'm going to take Bryan Barberena to break the chin of Jason Witt. My numbers, guys, I'm going to put Bryan at least a minus 200. And we've got Bryan minus 250 up to minus 270. Yeah, it makes sense. You look at Jason Witt get in there against Matt Semmelsberger. It was a jab. It was a jab down the middle. It just broke his chin. Bryan Barberena, he's violent. I think he's going to break the chin too. Alright, my homies, we've got Sam Alvey taking on Roman Kopylov. Man, this is a fair matchup, I guess. I mean, you look at Sam Alvey, right? This is a guy who gets faded quite a lot. We fade this guy. He's lost quite a few in a row now. Lost to Lil Nog, Jimmy Crute, Klidson Abreu, Ryan Spann. It should have been a win, I believe, against Jung. But again, you know, you look at the judges with the finances. And then he lost to Julian Marquez too. So yeah, Sam Alvey, man, he's been around for a long time. We know what he does. He's plotting on his feet, on the back foot, looking to land a smiling counterpunch, right? Now the opponent, Roman Kopylov, anytime you see like a Russian you think, could this guy be the next Khabib? In his debut, he didn't show that. He got choked out by Robertson, right? Now when you look at Roman, I'm not too sure if he's going to win this matchup. You kind of just want to fade Sam Alvey because it's Sam Alvey at nearly 36 years old, not getting better, looking the same every matchup. I'll be honest with you guys, before this breakdown, I was leaning towards Roman. Not because I think he's elite, not because I think he's going to get in there and completely look like a guy we want to, jump onto that train. Roman Kopylov, this guy's the next thing. I wasn't picking him because of that. I was just picking him because it's Sam Alvey. And I don't think Sam Alvey can win many fights in the UFC at this point. But you know what, guys? For the first time ever on my channel, I'm going to swap my prediction during the breakdown. I'm going to take Sam Alvey to get his first win since mid-2018 against a Russian fighter that's only had 9 pro fights to date. If Carl Roberson can take you down and choke you out, Sam Alvey on his very best day, he can win this fight. I don't feel super confident about it. Like I said, guys, I just swapped my prediction. But something tells me Sam Alvey, don't underestimate him in this spot. So that's going to be my prediction. And we've got Sam Alvey plus 220. Plus 220 on Sam Alvey. Really might be worth it. Roman Kopylov, 0 wins, 1 loss in the UFC. Nearly minus 300. Yeah, don't agree. Alright guys, we've got Kang, Mr. Perfect, taking on Rani Yahya. If you want a pick'em matchup, this is the one to go with, to put your money on. So we know what Rani Yahya is all about. This guy is a pure jiu-jitsu specialist. He has all the tricks, all the knowledge to fold in your limbs, break in your limbs. He knows what to do when he's body to body inside the octagon. Now Mr. Perfect, Kang, he's got one of the best submission wins in the UFC in my opinion. Over 3 years ago he submitted Guido Canetti with a triangle choke. But this wasn't any normal triangle choke. He had this thing locked in mid-air. If you haven't seen this submission, I advise you go check it. Super cool. Super cool submission. But yeah, man, trying to make a confident prediction on this one, it's a difficult thing to do. Rani Yahya getting on in age. Never been a great striker. Just a pure grappler. A pure jiu-jitsu guy. But when he's getting matchups like Ray Rodriguez and Kang, it's like he can do what he wants to do. He wants to get close and grapple you. But Kang is a pretty good jiu-jitsu guy too. Yeah, I'm going to side with the South Korean on this one. Again, guys, I don't feel super confident. It's good matchmaking. It does feel like we're going to get some grappling. And I hope Kang is able to hold himself in that type of performance. When I see him getting triangle chokes mid-air, it tells me that he can compete with Rani Yahya. But we know how good Rani is. So yeah, difficult prediction to make. But I'm going to side with Kang. My numbers, I keep them real close. I'll put Kang minus 140. Rani Yahya plus 110. And we've got Kang minus 140. Rani Yahya plus 120. So yeah, this line in my opinion spot on. I still wouldn't bet it though. I want to bet on people that are locks. Especially for the last week of July. And there's no lock here in my opinion. Alright, moving on into Gloria de Paula taking on Cheyanne Buys. My goodness. So let's speak about what happened to Cheyanne in her debut. She didn't get taken down in a traditional way, single leg, double leg. She got taken down with the scarf hold. Not once, not twice. More than 2 times, man, multiple times. Cheyanne Buys was dragged to the mat with a scarf hold. So if I'm basing Cheyanne Buys purely off her debut, haven't got the greatest things to say. Now, kind of the same with Gloria DePaula. You know, she was taken down in her debut. Granted, it wasn't to a scarf hold. You know, Jin Yu Frey didn't use the scarf hold. It was more traditional. Single leg, driving through on the takedown. It looked more normal. It looked more suitable to the highest level. Now, Gloria is a Muay Thai fighter. So she wants this fight standing. She wants it on the feet. She wants to blast Cheyanne Buys with kicks. Cheyanne Buys, despite being completely dominated with the scarf hold, she probably wants to take down Gloria. You know, and it's difficult to say whether she can or can't. If I'm judging Cheyanne based off of the scarf hold, I'm going to say she can't take down Gloria. But Cheyanne is training at Fortis MMA, a really, really top camp. And they're going to have her prepared to take down Gloria. So it's going to be one or the other. If Cheyanne gets the takedowns, I think she's going to win the matchup. If Gloria is able to strike and use her Muay Thai the way she wasn't really able to use it against Jin Yu Frey because of that takedown, then I think Gloria can win this matchup. Yeah, the winner of this matchup is going to be the fighter that's able to implement their game plan. I believe it's going to be the Brazilian, the Muay Thai fighter. I went against her with Jin Yu Frey. This time I believe she's able to keep the fight standing, able to use her Muay Thai. So purely for those reasons, I'm going to side with Gloria DePaula to get a win here. My numbers, I'd put Gloria minus... I'm going to keep them close again. Minus 130. Cheyanne Buys plus 100. And we've got Cheyanne Buys minus 200. I'm assuming she's minus 200 to take down Gloria. Because if this fight stays striking, I see Gloria winning. You know, I see Gloria using that Muay Thai. So yeah, if you're betting on Cheyanne, you need a takedown in my opinion. I don't think it's coming. I think the underdog is the way to go in this one. Alright guys, we've got Shamil Abdurakhimov taking on Chris Daukaus. Yeah, not bad this matchmaking, not bad. So Shamil, Russian wrestler, as most Russians are, hasn't been inside the octagon in nearly 2 years. Approaching 40 years old. I'm not too sure that Shamil's going to turn up and look the best he's ever looked. But we do have to try break down the fight and think, what is Shamil going to do here? He has got knockout power. He will throw his hands. But you don't really want to try box with Chris Daukaus. You just don't want to. You know, why don't you want to box with Chris Daukaus? Well, you look at Chris inside the UFC. Round 1 stoppage against Parker Porter. Round 1 stoppage against Rodrigo. Round 1 stoppage against Alexei Oleinik. Chris Daukaus can box. So if you're Shamil Abdurakhimov, you want to wrestle in this matchup. Shamil does have more experience than Chris Daukaus, but he's been off for 2 years. He hasn't got the momentum going into this matchup. On the flip side, Chris Daukaus, he's looked great. If he avoids the fence, being clinched up against the fence, if he avoids the mat, I think he can fight his fight, which is boxing, which is counter-punching, similar to Adrian Yanez. And we have to remember too, when the fight does hit the mat, Chris Daukaus has a black belt. So yeah, I'm liking Chris Daukaus in this matchup. Maybe even a first round stoppage for Chris Daukaus. Seems pretty likely. My numbers, I'll put Chris Daukaus at least a minus 220. And we've got Chris Daukaus minus 200, Shamil plus 160, plus 170. Like I said guys, Chris doesn't have the same experience as Shamil, but look at the momentum this guy has. He's just setting everyone down round 1. His boxing, his speed. He's a bit lighter than these guys, but he uses it to his advantage. So if he avoids the mat, yeah, I think it's a good line. Alright my homies, main event. if you haven't Hamzat smashed the like button yet, or used your own techniques, go ahead and do that, man. Let's go. Alright, we've got Uriah Hall taking on Sean Strickland. Low-key competitive main event. Primetime Uriah Hall. We know who this guy is. He's a really, really good kicker. You can think back to that horrible, devastating finish on The Ultimate Fighter. Since being in the UFC, he hasn't exactly lived up to that hype. But you know, you look at his record, he's got 4 wins in a row. You know, he was losing to Bevan Lewis, came back and got a finish. He done well to win the fight against Carlos Jr. He beat Anderson Silva. And then Chris Weidman, you know. But Sean Strickland, this guy also has 4 wins in a row, just like Uriah Hall. Wins over Nordine Taleb, Jack Marshman, Brendan Allen, and even Christoph Jotko. Sean Strickland is a low-key, really decent boxer. His high output with the boxing seems to be the biggest weapon he can offer any fighter. Now Uriah Hall, this guy's more of a kicker than a puncher. So he's going to try to keep Sean Strickland at a distance. It's for Sean Strickland to close that distance, get into boxing range. That's where he's going to find success against Uriah Hall. Really, really good matchup, guys, but I'm going to stick with Sean Strickland. He's been looking really good, man. I think if he can keep it close in boxing range with Uriah, yeah, I see him winning this matchup. Maybe a decision, maybe a finish. It all depends how aggressive Sean Strickland's going to be. We know Uriah's going to try set him up with spinning kicks. And Sean Strickland has been finished by a kick before. You go back to Zaleski, right, his last loss. Spinning kick to the head, really nasty. So Uriah Hall is going to try do it, but I don't think it happens. I'm going to stick with Sean Strickland. My numbers, I'd put Sean Strickland at least a -170. And we've got Sean Strickland -200, -210. So a lot of people liking the boxer in this matchup. It's hard to disagree. I like Sean Strickland here. Alright, my homies. Leave your parlays, your underdogs, all of that good stuff. And I'll catch you soon. Peace.